We all know that if we treat children with sensitivity when they are young, they are more likely to grow up to be healthy and happy. So what makes John Bowlby's view of child development so special? Never far from his thinking were the pathogenetic or illness-producing effects on a child of separation from his mother or mother substitute for long periods or permanently during his or her first 5 years of life. Bowlby outlined his ideas in 2 papers, The Influence of Early Environment on the Development of Neurosis and Neurotic Character and 44 Juvenile Thieves, both produced around the end of the Second World War and published in the International Journal of Psychoanalysis. During this period, Bowlby's work was concerned with studying the deviant and abnormal, and in 1949, at a Royal Institution conference on the scientific study of juvenile delinquency, he argued that the individual who is mentally healthy is able to make mutually affectionate and lasting friendships with individuals and to cooperate satisfactorily with his neighbours, and this capacity to make relationships is most easily injured during early development. Children who either have no permanent mother figure or who are separated for long periods from their mothers, for instance by evacuation or prolonged hospitalization, are apt to suffer from severe inhibition of feelings of love. Such inhibition will lead to varying degrees of inhibition in the growth of conscience. In a 1949 paper published in the journal The Magistrate, Bowlby went on to argue against punishment and asserts that there is no evidence whatsoever of the effectiveness of punishment. He suggested that in a century's time such a punitive approach will be regarded as a curiosity, and once again he pointed to early separation from the mother as a causal factor of juvenile delinquency. In 1946, Bowlby joined forces with James Robertson, a psychiatric social worker, and this partnership led to the study of children who had been separated from their parents and were living either in residential nurseries or in hospital. They argued that when a child of about 18 to 24 months of age who has previously had a normal relationship with his or her mother was cared for in an impersonal environment, he or she commonly progresses through 3 phases of emotional response, which he described as protest, despair and denial, which they illustrated in the film called A 2-Year-Old Goes to Hospital. However, it was the publication of Maternal Care and Mental Health in 1951, prepared on behalf of the World Health Organization as a contribution to the United Nations Programme for the Welfare of Homeless Children, and the abridged version, Child Care and the Growth of Love, which brought Bowlby's name to a larger public. In this report, Bowlby crucially related the act of mothering to the state of mental health in children. What is believed to be essential for mental health is that the infant and young child should experience a warm, intimate and continuous relationship with his mother or permanent mother substitute, in which both find satisfaction and enjoyment. It is this complex, rich and rewarding relationship with the mother in the early years, varied in countless ways by relations with a father and with siblings, that child psychiatrists and many others now believe to underlie the development of character and of mental health. Bowlby coined the phrase maternal deprivation to describe this condition. According to Bowlby, the ill effects of such deprivation vary with its degree. Acute anxiety, excessive need for love, powerful feelings of revenge, and arising from these lust, guilt and depression, while complete deprivation has even more far-reaching effects on character development and may entirely cripple the capacity to make relationships. Bowlby leant heavily on Goldfarb's studies of children who were institutionalized in infancy and asserts that the evidence is now such that it leaves no room for doubt regarding the general proposition that the prolonged deprivation of the young child of maternal care may have grave and far-reaching effects on his character and so on the whole of his future life. He added that, although it is a proposition exactly similar in form as those regarding the evil after effects of rubella in fetal life or deprivation of vitamin D in infancy, there is a curious resistance of accepting it. And in a statement that is often repeated, Bowlby went on to say, "It is now demonstrated that maternal care in infancy and early childhood is essential for mental health. This is a discovery comparable in magnitude to that of the role of vitamins in physical health and of far-reaching significance for programs of preventative mental hygiene. In another oft-cited passage, he went on to say, provision of constant attention day and night, 7 days a week and 365 days in the year, is possible only for a woman who derives profound satisfaction from seeing her child grow from babyhood through the many phases of childhood to become an independent man or woman, and knows that it is her care which has made this possible. Even bad parents, according to Bowlby, can offer much to a child in terms of continuity of care, giving that child an invaluable sense that there is at least someone to whom she is important and for whom she has value. The reason why children thrive better in bad homes than in good institutions, and why children with bad parents are apparently unreasonably so attached to them, can be understood. Even so, as far as Bowlby was concerned, it is the mother who cares for and comforts the child, whereas in the young child's eyes, father plays second fiddle. Bowlby divides those natural home groups that have failed to care for the child into 3 categories. The first, in which the natural home group is never established due to illegitimacy. Secondly, the natural home group which is intact but not functioning effectively. Such factors include economic conditions leading to unemployment and poverty, chronic illness or incapacity, and instability or the psychopathy of parent. The third category of families Bowlby described as the natural home group, broken up and therefore not functioning. The factors affecting these families included social calamities such as the war and famine, the death of a parent, illness requiring hospitalization of a parent, imprisonment of a parent, desertion by one or both parents, separation or divorce, employment of father elsewhere, and full-time employment of the mother. Any family suffering from one of these conditions, including full-time employment of mother, must, according to Bowlby, be regarded as a potential source of deprived children. In his arguments for the prevention of such family failures and possible subsequent social cycles of deprivation, he argues for both direct aid to families and long-term community programs. On the subject of special family allowances or payments, Bowlby argued that they were a vital step in the right direction, even though it must be considered whether some specially increased provision should not be made for children under 5 or 3. He develops his theme and pronounces that the proper care of children deprived of normal home life can now be seen to be not merely an act of common humanity, but to be essential for the mental and social welfare of the community, and reasserts that mother love in infancy and childhood is as important for mental health as are vitamins and protein for physical health.